What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. So I have a clip for you guys where this man is explaining why most men are not approaching women. So we're gonna get into it. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell to be notified when I upload new content. Let's get into the video, y'all.
Ladies, if you want to know why you're not getting approached by men when you out in public and you know when you step out your 10, it can only be a couple of things. Number one, he could have seen what you was driving or the way you was dressed and the way you was carrying yourself, and that could have intimidated him. Number two, he probably thinks that you are so bad that you wouldn't even talk to a guy of his caliber. So basically, he probably think you way out of his league as far as looks. And last but not least, number three, it could be because you got an RBF.
So he's saying resting B face, right? So what do y'all think about what he's saying? Do you think that those are accurate reasons as to why men are not approaching women? Because I guess that could be some of the reasons why. You know, you look like you don't want to be approached, you look mad, or he's saying that they could be intimidated by what you're driving, or, you know, you just don't seem like you're on his level, that you're above his level. So men won't approach because you look like a high caliber woman. Y'all let me know what y'all think of that, but let's continue.
So ladies, don't say I ain't put you on game, and take notes.
If you're unaware, we're in a sassy man apocalypse. For the women not being approached by men, it's not you, it's the men. And for the men, if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. So let me give some of these men examples. And this is from my data and my research. I'm not making this up. This is true. To tell you if you're part of the sassy man apocalypse. Okay. For one, if you ask, what do you bring to the table? Of course, you're part of the ringleader of the sassy man apocalypse. What do you bring to the table? How does this benefit me? How do you benefit me? What are you doing for me? Anything with me. You have been infected by the sexy man apocalypse. Two, if you are not approaching women because you're afraid of rejection and you're just tired of the rejection, or you're tired of not finding what you want out of a woman, and you feel like you're the prize and you should be chased, you're infected by the sassy man apocalypse. Now, if you're not approaching women because you're just not interested right now, you're working on you, that's a healed man. That's not a sassy man. That's a healed man. But if you're not approaching women because you feel like they should be approaching you, or they should come to you, or you're just over women, but you want a woman, yeah, you're in the sassy man apocalypse.
We gotta come up with something for the women. So if there's the sassy man, the ending of the sassy man, that means the destruction of a sassy man is nearing. So that means that the sassy man will be destroyed. That will be the end of that. So I guess the masculine men will be left. I don't understand that. But there needs to be something for the entitled women, the women who don't see themselves, the women who think that they're queens and think that they're the prize. There needs to be something for them as well, because a lot of these women are unhealed, traumatized, toxic, masculine, angry, bitter women who want men to give them the world, the moon and the stars. And frankly, a lot of them do not deserve it. So what's the name for those women? And once again, if it don't apply, let it fly. But what is the name for the women who think that they deserve a good man to treat them like a princess and give them the world and more, when they're overweight? Majority of women are overweight. You're 200-300 pounds, linebacker sizes, entitled, fake everything, don't want to cooperate, don't want to bring anything to the table, by the way. So there should be a name for those women as well. If we got the sassy man apocalypse, there needs to be a name for those women who think that they're entitled to something without ever putting anything in. You know, this goes both ways. So I wish women would understand that, you know, you can't require so much from a man when you're not really giving anything yourself. And you have to put in work for that. You just don't meet a man and automatically expect them to give you the world and more when you haven't put in and you haven't proven that you are the type of woman that deserve that from a man. That is not something that you just give for free. You have to be the type of woman that a man will want to give his all and give the world to. And if you are not, that's why you're not getting it. Let's continue.
If you compare your woman to your mother in any type of way, you're part of the sassy man apocalypse. For example, if your woman comes home from a long day at work and she comes and she doesn't want to cook dinner, and you say, my mama would cook dinner. My mama worked 5 jobs, had five kids, and she cooked dinner. Sir, you're part of the sassy man apocalypse. Are you screwing your mother? No. You're part of the sassy man apocalypse. You're infected. Your mind is gone. Those are just 3 things that I came up with in my research. I'm going to do some more. I'll get back to you guys.
Let me know if I'm tripping, but I feel like a lot of women try to be shady when they say things like men don't approach them because they know not to mess with them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say that they're lying all the time, because sometimes that could very well be the case. Who knows? But I feel like, why isn't the first thought never, maybe they just don't find me attractive enough? I feel like as a woman, we spend too much time trying to come up with these narratives as to why we didn't get picked or chosen. And when we see women who actually get picked or chosen, we feel insecure about that, so we blame it on our vibes, when in reality, it could be as simple as him finding the other woman more attractive, and that's okay. Our worth shouldn't be determined by what a man thinks of us. And the reason why I think it's shady when women say this is because it kind of implies that they're better than the other women who get approached, or that the other women who get approached are easy and they can be messed with. And overall, it just always sounds so nasty. I don't know, and what be getting me is that they be saying this after their friends get approached or when they see somebody else get picked over them. And it's like, what are you trying to say?
She made a very good point, and I see this all the time, and I think the focus is too much on the wrong things. You should be focused on what you need to do in order to get approached and picked. If you see other people around you getting picked and approached, then maybe you need to figure out what you need to do so that you can get picked too. Because a lot of women are really self-inflating themselves, their egos, they're boosting their egos, thinking and putting themselves on this pedestal and thinking that they're, everything in 10 bags of chips. And when nobody is approaching them or wanting them, it makes them feel kind of funny. And I guess I would feel funny too if I'm walking around thinking I'm a 20, not a 10, but a 20. And I'm so great of a person, and I got it all made in the shade, and nobody is approaching you. No men are walking past you left and right, and then they're picking your friends around you and people around you. You just stand there looking stupid, like, what the hell? But you say what the hell, and you get mad and you question it, but you don't question yourself. You don't look at yourself. The key to all of this is looking inward. Look at you, not everybody else around you, but look at you to determine what you're doing wrong. Figure out how you can change some things about yourself to get what you want. But a lot of people don't like to do that because they're stuck on thinking that they're right. And you're stuck on thinking that you're everything and 10 bags of chips. You may be that to yourself, but you're not that to the men, obviously, because they're not picking you. Just saying. Let's continue.
It's like once I started healing and really loving myself and putting myself first and desensitizing the men don't approach me no more. They will literally stare at me, probably mild like that, or just stare at me until I say something to them. But for the most part, they're not gonna approach me. And it used to really hurt my feelings because I'm used to being someone that's approached. So now going through this phase of my life where men don't approach me, it really made me be like, damn, what's wrong with me? Am I really ugly? But I think it's just because my energy is changing, and I think men know who they could play with. And at a point in my life, I was very playable. A nigga gonna play with me, and I was gonna let him. I was willing to be a part of the circus. And
if that's the case, then that's your own insecurities, boo. If you let somebody play you in the past, that's on you. So if a man is not approaching you, he don't know your history. He don't know anything about you. It ain't no vibe that he's picking to tell him, oh, she used to let men play with her, so I ain't gonna talk to her because I'm trying to play with her. No, it's just they may not just be interested. But that's definitely some internal work that women have to do to distinguish what it is. Some women are overweight and men don't want overweight. It could be the way you dress. It could be the way you come off, how you speak, what you talk about. All of those things could be turn offs for men. But let's continue.
I'm not really into that type of thing no more. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think.
5 reasons why men probably aren't approaching you, even when you look really good. Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm a relationship and dating empowerment coach, and I'm here to support you on your journey to finding love, falling in love, and keeping it. So if you're a single lady and you are finding out that it's really hard for you to attract men in the natural world, there may be a few key things that you're doing that are blocking your success. All right, so you look good, right? You're super excited. You love the way that you look, and now you're out in the wild. Why aren't these men approaching you? It doesn't make any sense, right? So first off, maybe you have model face. You're too serious. You are not maybe smiling as much as you need to. Even when you're sitting by yourself, even when you're engaging with your friends, you need a smile. Smiles are so approachable. 2, you have uninviting body language. Maybe you're hunched over. Maybe you're not facing, you're not open with your body language. You're not open to receiving suitors. 3, you're relying too much on the way that you look to be the opening. And what you need to do is you need to offer a glance. You need to make eye contact with some of these fools, okay? 4, okay, you seem a little busy. Maybe you're on the phone, or you are reading your book, or you're super engaged in the conversation with your friend, and you're not really, it doesn't look like there's an opening for someone to come up to you. And then number 5, you may just actually be in the wrong place. You're not in the best place for you to be approached by the age demographic or the type of person that you actually want to be approached by. Because maybe you are getting approached in some capacity, but it's not the type of people that you want. And it could be just that you're not in the right spaces.
Or it could just be that even though you think you're cute, the men are just not attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? It could just be that they're not attracted to that individual. You know what I mean? But I do get what she's saying, as you can close yourself off and make yourself look unapproachable, damn, she don't want to be bothered. So that could throw a man off. I think you have to be a little bit more engaging, and I think I think what she's saying has validity. I think what she's saying, it could be true. You know what I'm saying? So I think that these are all things that you can apply to see if they work. But you also got to make, you got to take into consideration too that every man is not going to be attracted to you, even if you are cute, even if you are an attractive woman. Every man is not going to, you're not going to be every man's cup of tea. But I think understanding that and putting yourself in the right position and just being yourself and being open to talking to people makes a big difference. So I do agree with her on those points. Let's continue.
Money that you're spending for a dating event, you can take that money and go to happy hour. You can take that money and go to an actual event. You can take that money and do anything else besides going to an event where 9 times out of 10 there's going to be 80 women and 2.5 men. If I was a man and I was looking to build my roster in record time, I would buy a ticket to one of those dating events. You know why? Because the women there are giving very much, I'm going to say it, desperate. Men are not going to dating events because it's too easy to get a girl anyway. And if they are going to dating events, trust me, it's not for the same intentions that you're going there for. And y'all are spending money for tickets for these dating events that is going to be more women there. If you're a lesbo, just say that. That's cool. But if you're going there really looking for a man, absolutely not. Take the money that you were going to use for that ticket, go level yourself up, buy some new makeup, buy a new dress, get a walking pad, go to happy hour, go to some other type of events that have men that are just naturally going to be there, that you can naturally just talk to, not with the intentions of dating. You have the intentions of dating and meeting someone, but he's going there just to have a good time. So that way it feels more organic,
I do agree with her. I think on the point of going to places where men are, because a lot of these men are not showing up to these dating events in huge numbers. That is a fact. So if you know that and you see that, figure out where the men are and position yourself there and be open to talking to them and just having conversations so that you can, like she said, organically meet somebody. I think that part is a good message, to go where the men are, because they're not at the dating events. They're not showing up. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but let's continue.
Why does a man stare at you but never approach you? I made a video talking about this before, but some of you are new here, so I thought I'd spin the block. So the first thing to understand is that if men are going to do anything, men are going to stare. I always tell you, the same women that a lot of women are programmed to desire love and relationships above all else, that is the same way that a lot, if not most men, are programmed to desire sex before all else. So the first thing a man is looking to see when interacting with women, and often almost subconscious, is whether he's sexually attracted to her. Now, men are cheap hoes, so it's all based on face value. And the thing about women in men's eyes is there's so many of them. There's so many different types. There's so many different heights. There's so many different weights. There's so many different skin tones. There's so many different accents. There's so many different eye shapes. And when it comes to sex, men want to try every variety in as many different mixes as they can. And yes, men will sleep with you because they find you attractive, but it's not even just the surface level attraction. Ladies, let me break it down for you. A man might want to sleep with you because you're tall and he's short and he just wants to see how it is sleeping with a tall girl. You might be bandy-legged and a man might just want to see how it is sleeping with a bandy-legged girl. You might have big lips and a man might want to see what it's like with your lips. Like, I'm being very intense here because I want you to understand how crude of a level men think about sex on. So by higher programming, a man will always be looking to see if something attracts him. Maybe not with the conscious thought, but that's just how he's programmed.
What do you guys think about what she's saying? You know, I just wish women would stop speaking for men and let the men tell you what they're thinking. Why not? If a man is staring at you, why not approach him? Why not approach him to see why he's staring? Maybe he's thinking something totally differently from what you think he's thinking. Maybe he's not thinking about sex at all. Maybe he's thinking, oh my God, look at her hair. It looks a mess. Or maybe he's looking at you because you look hideous or something like that. I mean, if a man is just staring at you and you're out somewhere, would it hurt for you to walk over and say, hi, how are you? I see you looking. What's going on? Like, why not ask? Why not talk to men about these things so you can get an accurate idea of what they're thinking as opposed to making it up in your head and swearing that it's the truth. This is where a lot of women go wrong because they've sat down with their sisterhood and they've conjured up what they believe a man is like. And then when men told you what they really like and what they really thinking, y'all didn't believe them. So I just think women got to stop doing this. Stop making up things and telling other women that this is what men are thinking. And yes, of course, men are attracted to beautiful women. Yes, men like sex just like women do. And so, I mean, but you can't sit here as a woman and say, hey, this is actually what the men are thinking and they're doing this and doing, like, you're not an expert on men because you're not a man. So a lot of women tend to do that. They think they know men better than men. And so you don't listen to the men. You don't talk to the men. You just sit there and brainstorm an idea of what you think they're thinking. And a lot of times they're totally wrong. My advice would be, look, if you're out somewhere and a man is staring, go over and say hello. You're in a public place. Hello, hi, you staring. What you thinking? He might be, oh my God, you're so beautiful. But he didn't want to approach you because he don't know what you're thinking. And the way these women act, like, treat these men like they're dusty and dirty and like, oh my God, why would you approach me? Why would any man approach any woman in this day and age? So it would make sense to me why men don't approach, but they're looking because they're trying to maybe they're gauging your attitude. Maybe they're trying to see if you got a nasty attitude. Are you going to belittle them or put them down? Because listen, my thing is this, even if a man approaches you and you're not interested, there's a kind way to do that. You know what I mean? You don't have to be mean. You could do that in a very nice way that don't make the man feel small. You could just be like, you could talk to him. You don't have to be interested. But a lot of these women are very cold and very mean, and they don't care if they hurt your feelings. They're mean and nasty. And that could be a part of the reason why these men are staring, trying to gauge your attitude. Who knows? But if you want to know really bad, go ask them. That's what go ask them. Ask them, hey, you're staring. What's going on? What you thinking, And you'll get an answer. And who knows, might blossom into something, a conversation, a number. You talk to somebody, you just never know. But these women are always asking why men will stare you down. But y'all don't ever think, let me go over here and see what he said. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you can't approach. They got to come to you. No. Not in this climate. But listen, what do y'all think about this video? I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts on this? Chime in the comments. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit that bell. Y'all know what it is. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.